I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, Cougars. School's over tomorrow. Today is Wednesday, June 7th. Welcome to ACTV News. I'm Javon Fields.
And I'm Jalen Wilson. Tomorrow's the last day of school, and it is the minimum day. Block 1 starts at the regular time, but the day ends at 12:50.
Tomorrow is graduation. Seniors have the senior breakfast at 8. Graduation practice is at 9:30, and they need to be lined up in the gym by 4 to line up. Mr. Tubbs has some advice for family and friends who are coming to the ceremony.
Limit people from lining up until 1:30. So they can start lining up at 1:30, gates open at 4:30, and the sooner you get here, the better your seat's going to be. Skyline Church parking, we'll have shuttles going back and forth from there. Our parking lot will probably close, it'll be full by 5. Okay, so by that point, you're going to have to be parking off campus, and Skyline's a good option at that point.
Grand Night is on Friday at Disneyland. Check-in will be at the quad starting at 11:45 in the morning, and the buses will leave probably at 1 p.m.
For Grand Night, students need to drop off at school. No vehicles should be left in the parking lot overnight. In addition, students are not allowed to drive their own vehicles to Disneyland. Food and drinks are not allowed on the buses, but bottled water will be handed out.
A special thanks to all AP students who took a part in the recycling boat race. AP Chemistry took the dual boat title, and AP Environmental won the single boat race.
It took us like a week. I want to say if we would have done it day by day, it would have taken a good week. What about you?
We only worked on it for a few weekends.
Yeah, there was 2 options. You can either build a boat or you could do a video documentary on some unit that we learned in the class, but everyone wanted to do both. It's just the more fun. Yeah, it's a more fun option.
If you are interested in taking a QMACA course in the fall and filled out an interest form, applications to register for the course are in the VP office. Please see Miss McCorkle or one of our favorite principals, Miss R, in the office for the forms. The deadline to register is at the end of the week. The courses being offered are ASL, Introductions to the Business, and Introductions to the College and Career.
Do you hate waking up early? We have been working on a story that will let you know why we start early and how the students and teachers feel about waking up this early. Along with photographer Deashane Cummings, we had a special report.
Studies show that students who start school later in the day get more hours of sleep and perform better at school. What time do you start school? What time do you want to start school? This is what students think.
I think school should start at 8:30 or 8:45 because it's more time to sleep in and more time to get in the library to do schoolwork and stuff.
7:30 is a good time, and 8 could be better, but 7:30 is cool.
I think we should start around 8 o'clock because it gives people time to get their stuff ready, and if they live farther, they can just get here on time.
We asked a couple of staff members how they feel about the 7:30 start time.
I think it's wonderful. It's a good time for kids to get up early, and when you get in the workforce, it starts that early as well.
I think it's too early for most teenagers because studies have shown that most teenagers function better after 9 o'clock in the morning. So I think it's really difficult for teenagers to get up at 6 o'clock, 6:30, whenever they get up, and have to be functioning at 7:30. I don't think it fits their biological rhythm that well.
7:30 is Personally, for me, I'm okay with it. I'm an early bird. I know some students have a hard time getting here, however, so it does make it difficult for some students to arrive on time at 7:30. Just because I think some teenagers like to, because of their sleep patterns, they perform better if they could have a later start. But I also think that some students tend to stay up too late, and if they planned to get 8 or 9 hours of sleep and went to bed earlier, 7:30 would be okay.
We asked a couple staff members about changing the start time.
I haven't heard about anything changing, but I know from our perspective in the counseling office that certain schedules are more flexible, and it depends on the student and their needs, transportation, how many credits they've earned, where they're at with being on track to graduate. So it's usually a case-by-case basis. So I think as students progress through their grade level, there might be better opportunities to be more flexible in their start time.
No, it puts us too late into the afternoon for sports because our 9 o'clock start time is a short day, but it's built into the Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday hours. So if we started at 8:30, you wouldn't get out till 3:40, and it sets everything back too late.
Potentially, there's new legislation kind of starting and going through the state of California, the state legislature, about having a start time for all schools that is no earlier than 8:30.
This is why we start school at this time.
I know that we have to start early because we have extracurricular events and sports and things like that in the afternoon. So we have to get out in enough time for students to participate in sports or in drama or different clubs. And if we got out too late, especially in the fall or the winter time, actually, it would be pretty dark and you couldn't do some of the outdoor activities. So we have to start early for those reasons.
Mostly people want it early for sports because when you have practices and games and things like that, it's more difficult to start those things an hour later or an hour and a half later. Buses and transportation to all the sports and all of that stuff. So it can create a problem when you have to start later. But I think if the whole state changes to starting later, then athletics is going to have to accommodate that.
It seems like the administration wants to have Still Canyon start at 7:30 because if we didn't, it will take away time from after-school sports and activities.
Call it how it is.
RenderForest.com.
Promise, swear.
This week marks the end of the first broadcast journalism class. We're happy we have had the chance to bring you the news every day since January. Right now, we want to take a look back at the first edition of the SCTV News.
First outcome was to improve the quality of the broadcast itself. Which is not to say the ESB kids weren't doing an amazing job, and I really appreciate all that they did. Mr. Martinez, Miss Moss, and all that, they did a great job. I just wanted to make our broadcast kind of like must-see TV or must-watch TV, like you have to see it. My second goal was to teach, about 24 kids to do journalism, how to get a news story together, how to get sources, how to do interviews, how to edit video, how to shoot video, how to think about those kind of things, how to be able to communicate better, because those skills, even though it's just for a broadcast class here in high school, those skills are going to benefit students for almost every single job they can have as they get older, as they go on in their careers.
I'm really happy with the current state of broadcast journalism and the broadcast we provide to all students and all staff. I think great schools have a common message that everyone gets to hear every single day. So I'm real proud of the efforts that have been put forth. I think the crew that have been assembled to work with Mr. Dorsch have done a great job, and I think it's only going to get better. There's more and more kids out there that ask me, how can I get on the broadcast? How can I star on the broadcast? Or how can I be behind the scenes on the broadcast? And I tell them, you just got to get into this broadcast journalism class.
Even if you don't know anything about editing or writing, or you're not that good of a writer, you can still learn the skills. There's a lot of people that will help you learn how to edit, how to get rid of your fright to be in front of the camera, and it's all things you can learn. A lot of the people that are in this class didn't know a lot of the things that they know now. Like, I could name a lot of people that didn't know how to edit and they weren't very good writers, and now all of us are anchoring and editing stories every day.
That's all the news we have for you today. Had the last 2 days of school.
Rah rah Cougars.
Cougar Pride. Yes, sir.